Hey, Colin.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing well. Doing
Good,
well.
good,
Yeah.
good. So you're representing today which movie?
Song of Less than Love.
Okay, cool. So tell me more about yourself, and then tell me more about the movie.
All right. So I grew up in Maryland in the woods my whole life, and then I went to school up in Boston. Then ended up in LA, like a
Mm,
lot of filmmakers do. Um, yeah, I just love movies through and through.
cool.
I've
Sorry.
always wanted to do it, and I met some cool people in LA, and one of them was my good friend Dreon,
Okay.
and he was the director of the film that I acted in, Song of Less than Love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So tell me about this experience.
so,
So you're actor and filmmaker.
yeah, for this, I helped produce him a little bit. I got my good friend, childhood friend, Gordy. He did
Mm.
the music for it and
Okay.
some of the sound design. And then, yeah, I mainly acted in this one other than that. I did a little bit of help with the edit, but not enough to, like, say that, you know?
Okay.
Um, yeah, so Drown came to me and he was like, I got this script. It's about a guy
Mm.
that's in love, and I think he'd be perfect for it. And I
Mm.
was, normally people want me to play like weirdos in movies and such. I'm always like a sort of creepy weirdo kind of dude because people try and harness my, I don't consider myself funny, but
Mm.
people laugh at me all the time,
Mm.
And so I think he really wanted to harness that in just less of a weirdo way, but more of like,
Mm.
look at this dude that's like so in love, he's sort of an idiot. I read the script when he gave it to me, and aside from the fact I was like, man, you want me to get naked in this? I was like, I sort of hate this guy because he's an idiot. He doesn't
Mm.
really care about his wife. Like, he's just so
Mm.
like one track minded that it's sort of, there was unfortunately a scene that got deleted from it, but it was really, you get the feeling watching it. It's like she doesn't really want this to happen.
Yeah.
She's sort of like hesitant at first, and then finally she's like, okay, let's do it if we're gonna actually have a baby. And I just thought it was very, I don't know, selfish to just like surprise her with a strange man to come and
Mm.
play piano while we make love. But Ashley, the actress in it, she was awesome. Awesome,
Okay.
awesome, awesome. And
Okay.
so when we did the shoot, and CJ as well, who played Douglas Atwood, like
Mm.
the three of us, really, I didn't know either of them before the shoot, whereas
Okay.
I did know Dreon. And CJ was actually Dreon's neighbor, and so
Mm.
they had been hanging out. And he was like, "Oh man!" Originally, he was gonna get this like old Italian actor. I think I
Mm.
can't exactly remember, but that guy sort of like
Mm.
Dreon like wine and dined him, took him out to get
Mm.
like food and such, and that sort of fell through. And so he was like, "Oh, CJ, like, why don't you do it?" And CJ
Mm.
was, he never acted before, but he was
Okay.
game for
Mm.
it. And I think the energy he brought really, really worked.
Yeah.
Because,
I have a question
oh
for
yeah,
you, Colin.
sure.
What do you think about actors who do not meet before the shoot? Like, because I feel that, and I get that from filmmakers, is that the vibe. Some actors, they're like, it's one of their condition is they want to do like first, second, third reading, and then they want to meet with everyone just because they want to feel the vibe of the other actor, and especially when there is intimate scenes or naked scenes or whatever, so they want to feel the vibe of the room.
Hmm.
So you just said that you haven't met these people before. Tell me more about how do you feel about like meeting the other act, like
Hmm.
is it for you, is it something to do or not to do?
I think it's a project by project basis,
Mm.
really. I did one short like years ago where my character, he essentially like just got out of like rehab or prison. It's not really ever stated, but the first shot, he comes out of like a train station. He just starts calling everybody he knows and nobody picks up. And then
Mm.
finally, one of his old friends picks up. I had never met that guy before we filmed. And so that really, I think, added to like the sort of awkwardness of when we first met, because we
Mm.
hadn't like seen each other for years, and like our lives had been very different. So that really built into it. For this, I did meet Ashley before we did, the sex scene and everything. But I don't think I really met CJ before. I can't honestly remember. It was a couple years ago now. But I think, yeah, it's a project by project basis. If these characters are supposed to be like husband and wife, or, you know, best childhood friends or whatever, yeah, they should, you know, meet beforehand, really get that like bond going. But if they don't know each other, or they're supposed to be rivals in some way, yeah, keep them apart. You know, I don't want to know that guy. Like, I don't know that guy. You know.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, project by project.
Cool. And how many days did you spend?
Originally, I think it was supposed to be a 2-day shoot. We filmed everything in the diner first, and that was in 2019 in like December.
Okay.
That
right before apocalypse.
Exactly. So we filmed that in December, and that was the first thing. And then I believe the sex scene, the second half of the short, was supposed to also be a single day, but then due to like just things going wrong and, you know, Drayon realizing he needed more, we ended up shooting, I think that took maybe 3 days, maybe 4, but it was spread out over the course of like, I don't know, a couple weeks or something. So it wasn't all together. It was very spaced out.
Okay.
Which for some of the, you know, my hair is so curly and it grows. Like when it's short, you can't tell, you know. And in that, like you couldn't tell when we first started shooting, you know. And then as it went on, my hair grew, and so we were like, oh, we need to make sure.
Yeah,
I had a horrible haircut for a minute there, trying to just do continuity. But yeah, so it's probably like 3 or 4 days in total.
Cool. So any future projects you'd like to talk about?
So I know Drayon right now is working on another script. He's been shooting a couple music videos. He's working on another script about, hopefully I can say it, about drunk driving right now. You know, I'm not going to say anything more because I don't know what he has ironed down. Yeah, I don't know what he has ironed out, you know. And then I personally, and Drayon helped me with this. He helped produce it, but I actually filmed my own short probably about 2 months ago now.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I filmed it in Maryland. I'm from Maryland originally. And I had this feature I wrote a couple years ago. And then one of my Maryland friends that lived with me for a time out here, he called me, I don't know, earlier this year. And he was like, Colin, man, I dream about this script every night before you have to make it. You have to make it.
Wow.
And
I
so
want to have friends like these.
Oh, he's one of my biggest cheerleaders. Yeah. Like, he's a great guy. But yeah, so basically, I was like, well, how am I reread the script, because when I write, I don't ever really read it. I just get it all out, and then, you know, I come to it later and reread it. So I hadn't read this thing in like the 2 years since I wrote it. I read it, and I was like, oh, it's pretty good. And then I asked Adrian and another one of my friends, this guy, Josh Levy, and I was like, I want to get this done. How should I do it? And Levy was like, oh, how about you make a short? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Maybe I just like film a segment of
like
the script or something.
The feature.
And he was like, no. You should write something that's separate from that that you can like use. And so I was like, okay, well, my feature is about, you know, it's about this guy that's essentially a hitman that people, like, he's, you know, killed so many people in the past. All the relatives of those people constantly attack him, like at his house every day, nonstop. If you've ever seen, but he's like a killer, you know. He kills everybody almost instantly. He's so good. He's been doing it for 50 years. You know, he's like a 60-year-old man, and he has an assistant that, you know, every time someone attacks him and gets killed, you know, he's like, oh, Max, go clean this shit up, you know. And so the assistant goes, like, all right, like, and cleans up the bodies. So the short is about Max's first day working for this guy and how he has no idea, like, what he's really getting himself into. Because, you know, due to who this guy is, there's a level of secrecy to him getting this assistant job. And, yeah, it's just about his first day working this thing. Yeah, and so I'm currently editing that, though I'm not, you know, editing it as fast as I should be, probably. I was supposed to get picture lock by the end of this year, and we'll see if that happens, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna, honestly, when I get it done, I'm submitting it here.
Oh,
you know?
yes, please
I'd love
do.
to come back.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Submit it as well to the Fantasy Film Festival in Paris. That would be
Okay.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cool. Well, Colin, I would love to ask you more questions, but our
Yeah,
time
time's
is
up.
over. It was nice seeing you.
Yeah.
It was nice meeting you. And then just quick, want to say anything to like indie filmmakers, advice maybe?
Yeah, I lived in LA for 6 years doing absolutely jack shit. And I'm turning 30 in like a week or two, and I was like, man, I need to do something. So I've been doing things, and man, it's so much better to just be making your own stuff.
Cool.
So just make your own stuff. That's all I got to
Go
say.
ahead and
Who
do it.
cares what it is? Who cares if it's terrible? Just do it. You'll get better.
Very important advice. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah.